Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Magic McDs, and welcome to a special edition of my theme park slash epic universe weight loss journey. I know I initially promised that I'd be doing weekly updates on YouTube Shorts. I did that for a while, then it got to like bi-weekly, and then I think I did it where it was a month, and it just got away from me. So I apologize for not maintaining that regularity. But what I have been maintaining is my diet and exercise. It's now been just over 3.5 months. I started this journey at the very end of April. It's now mid August. It's Sunday, August 17th today, so it's about 3.5 months. And I wanted to report a major milestone that I've hit. I have now lost just over 50 pounds, which I'm ecstatic about. It's a huge marker. And I said in one of the updates, I forget, several weeks ago, that when I hit that mark, I would finally reveal my starting weight and then where I'm at. And I didn't reveal it early on because, frankly, like anybody who's overweight, or like a lot of people who are overweight, I should clarify, I was embarrassed, and I'm still embarrassed about my weight, and I have a long way to go. So let's start with the bad. And my heaviest, and it was my heaviest point. I was at 425 pounds when I started this journey. 425, it's crazy. I am now at just under 375 pounds. It's the lightest I've been, I think, in the entire time we've lived in Orlando. When we were in Texas living in Fort Worth, I think I was in the low 370s. So, yeah, so that's 50 pounds. When I was in, just to give you some background, when I was in college, so this is more years than I want to admit, but when I was back in college, I was about 195. And then when I was in law school, I went to law school, by the way. I don't know if I've ever disclosed that on here. I was in, and this is early 2000s, I was in, my shape was probably around 205, 210. And then it just slowly went up. When I was living in LA for 10 years, so from 2010 to about 2014, it started to creep up from like 220, 230. And then it just really took off. When it really took off, frankly, was COVID. And I know a lot of people had a problem with that. You know, a lot of us became, especially in California, where there were extreme restrictions. I'm not complaining about them; they did what they had to do, but there were very heavy restrictions. You couldn't even go out and get a haircut. There were lines to get into Target. You were basically sequestered. So Amber and I, as you know, if you watch the channel, we like to have a cocktail. So we would spend a lot of our days just hanging out on the balcony in Glendale in the apartment we were living in, and having drinks and being just completely sedentary. And that's when things really got bad and ballooned. And I went, for our wedding, I was around 300 pounds and been creeping up, and it probably skyrocketed to around 350, and then it's been just kind of creeping up more slowly since then. And then obviously peaking at 425, and the line wasn't drawn at that weight. And I think, Epic Universe was just a final wake-up call. It's not like I hadn't encountered rides that I couldn't get on. Flight of Passage was one at Disney, but for the most part I was doing okay. Even at Universal Studios, at Islands of Adventures, there were just a handful of rides I couldn't get on, and some of them, frankly, I don't care to ride. But at Epic Universe, when I couldn't get on the vast majority, that was when I was like, okay, this is over. I do want to address this point, though, because some of the, when I made my initial post about this at the end of April, and I have to say, by the way, if you saw that post, the response was overwhelmingly positive. I think there's over 100 comments now, several hundred likes, but there were a few negative ones. I since deleted them because the people who are negative, they want to be engaged with, they want to just spread their vitriol, so I don't even bother with them. I swept them down like a fly, deleted those comments. But just to give you a flavor of what they were, some were very nasty. They were just like, good, I'm glad people that are overweight like you can't be in the parks. It means more room for the rest of us. They were just ridiculously nasty. But a few had, arguably a valid point, and it shouldn't take going to a theme park and not getting on a ride to decide you need to be healthy. You should just decide to be healthy regardless. And I just want to address that point. Like, yeah, people who are overweight know they're overweight, and they know it's not healthy for the most part. We don't need to be reminded of that. And Epic Universe was just a final wake-up call. It's not the end-all, be-all reason of this weight loss journey. I just want to be back to when I was, fit, around 200 pounds, 195, and healthy and loving it. I want to have a nice, long, healthy life. So that is my goal. And, frankly, who cares what the final alarm bell is if it triggers somebody to go on that journey, whether it's a theme park, whether it's a rude comment from somebody out in public, whether it's not being able to fit into a seat at a restaurant, and it's maybe they can't fit into an airplane, whatever the reason is. It shouldn't be criticized as it shouldn't take that to get you into shape. Like anything that triggers somebody to go on a weight loss journey should be a good reason. So I just don't understand that attack. And if you're the kind of person that's inclined to make it, I would just stop and think twice and realize that, you know what, it's the net good here is that they're on that journey of weight loss now. Who gives a crap? Let's leave them alone. So, like I said, though, out of all the comments, and I think there's over 100. I could be wrong. There's many comments. I'm talking fewer than 5 with negatives. So it's really restored my faith in humanity, because we all know how bad and nasty the internet can be, and I was shocked at how unnegative it was. So thank you for that. I'd like to get that trend to continue. Anyways, I sounded like a broken record in some of my wake up or my makeup, my update videos, and talking about my just the secret to my success. And it's, I'll just repeat it here again because it hasn't changed much. It is going to change moving forward, because 50 pounds is kind of a landmark goal. But again, it's trying to hit 10,000 steps a day. 7,500 is the bare minimum I want to hit. 10,000 is the goal. I often exceed that. The average is definitely around 10,000 a day for the week, though. I do cut loose in terms of what I eat and drink on Fridays and Saturdays. I'll really just allow myself to have anything. As you've seen in some of the videos, going to the Wawa for breakfast. If you see junk food, it's usually being consumed on a Friday or a Saturday. I'm going to start to curtail that. I'm going to start to limit how much I'm going off the deep end on Saturdays, and just maybe do like one meal of junk food on Saturdays to improve things. But come Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's protein for breakfast. Sometimes it's a high protein shake and that's it. For lunch, it's a lot of protein and some carrots and some vegetables, some chicken and some turkey. And then for dinner, it's usually a sensible dinner. Sometimes it'll be something relatively unhealthy, like a hamburger patty with some cheese on it, maybe a slice of bacon, but like there's no bun involved. So elimination of carbs has been huge. The thing I'm going to do to change up, to keep the weight loss going, and this will kind of backfire in the first few weeks, I know this from past experience, this isn't my first weight loss journey, will be the addition of weight training. Nothing extreme. I'm not going to go out there and try and bench 150 pounds or anything, but just core training, doing some curls, doing some push-ups, doing some sit-ups, core body stuff. And I think that will pack on a little bit of weight initially, because muscle weighs more than fat. The good news is that when you're not exercising, the muscle's still there, it's still growing, and it's still burning fat and helping you, and it'll still change your overall shape even if your weight's not altering. I'm happy to report that I've gone from wearing like 5X t-shirts in some cases, 4X t-shirts, down to 3X. I am down. I would give you the waist size. I honestly forget what it was, but I'm down a 2-inch waist size. My belt, I was having to almost drill holes in my belt, so I've replaced my belt. I'm on a new belt. I'm already down 2 notches on the new belt. You probably noticed new t-shirts in the rotation in my videos. It's because I'm fitting into clothes that have been sitting dormant in my closet from when I was a lighter weight. So it's really exciting to be back in them. We were at Universal Studios the other night. I've never been more comfortable riding E.T. It's a notoriously tight ride. I never couldn't get on it. I always was able to, but it was extremely uncomfortable. I had the best time on that ride, with the exception of the second half. That ride's ridiculous. I talk about it in our Universal video. We'll face later in the week. Road Men in Black, a ride that I usually kind of skip and don't go on, and it had a great time. I've never been more comfortable on Everest at Animal Kingdom. So the theme parks are getting more and more enjoyable. Walking is not a struggle. It's not a challenge. It's become something that if I don't get it, I get really cranky and angry. I love taking my walks. It helps that I do most of them at the Disney resorts. So it's a joy to go to Coronado Springs and do about 3 miles around the path. I can't imagine a better place to walk. The Disney employees that work there are getting to know me. They're cheering me on. One of the gentlemen there the other day invited me to just walk through the convention center because it was so hot. If you watch the convention center at Coronado, it's a half mile if you go back and forth. That's just a half mile right there. So he invited me to do that. It's become a fun challenge. Some of the other comments I got were you should go on Ozempic or these GLP drugs. And look, I don't want to knock those. Some of my family members have taken to them to great success. They're big fans of them. One of them even went off and has been able to maintain the weight loss, and that's fantastic. I don't personally. It's just a personal choice. Number one, I like challenges in my life. Like I challenged myself when I was 18 to learn how to ski. And I did it. I challenged myself when I was a little bit younger than that to learn how to rollerblade, and I overcame that. I challenged myself to become a public speaker. I used to have terrible stage fright. Now I can give a speech in front of hundreds of people, and I've done that. I do it regularly. Sometimes not so much anymore, but it's been known to happen. And I view this as another challenge. It's the losing weight is it's a fun challenge. I love going. I love sweating. I love feeling detoxified and then filling back up on fresh water. I love that. It becomes intoxicating at a certain point. So I know I'm going to hit plateaus. I'm going to push through them. I would like to lose another 30 to 40 pounds by the first week of November. I have a cruise coming up, so I'd like to just, who doesn't want to look better for a vacation? So that's kind of a goal there. Again, not vanity weight loss, but I think things that motivate you to stay on target are again, good. Who cares what the reason is for losing weight? As long as you're losing the weight, that's the net good there. So, I think that's going to do it for this update. Thank you so much. If you've been following along, the support's been amazing. 50 pounds is obviously a milestone. I'm incredibly happy with it. If you're on a journey, let me know what you're doing. If you've had success in weight loss, let me know what your tips and tricks are. I'd love to hear about them. I don't know when I'm going to get back to Epic Universe to test where the limits are now. If I can get on some other rides, I think I was pretty darn close to getting on the Dark Universe attraction, the Darkmoor ride. So I need to go back and give that a try. I heard the carousel is much more forgiving now too. They added some new seatbelts on it, and I was contacted by somebody who runs a fat friendly Facebook post, and apparently they were working with Universal to improve things. So that's great to hear. But again, I'll go back to my original criticism. I don't understand why a company that already had two parks that were much more forgiving to people of weight or height, for that matter. I had a lot of people mentioned that they were just tall and thin and they couldn't get on certain rides. So this isn't just a people that are overweight issue. It's a people that are also tall and not freakishly tall. We're talking 6'4", 6'5". Some of these people have problems. Apparently Universal is working on addressing the problem. So that's great, and I would encourage them to continue to do that. So I think that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for your support. The overall goal here is to get back to 200, so I still have 150 pounds to go. If you want to follow that journey along, please go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you following not only my journey, but also our fun journey here on the Magical McDs. We'd love to have you along. We are less than 30 people away from 1,000 subscribers. Another milestone coming up, 50 pounds, 1,000 subscribers. It's a lot. It's a good time. It's a good time right now. So with that, have fun storming the castle, and as Amber would say, stay magical.